Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're looking at another devlog for the new Battle Pass. Obviously the new Battle Pass is going to be coming out in probably about 5 or 6 days now. I'm pretty sure the last Battle Pass finishes on the 27th of October, so seeing this pretty much around the same time would not be a surprise. The Battle Pass vehicle is the Beaufighter Mark 1. This is a 40mm version as well. It's an experimental version of the Beaufighter Mark 1, and it's going to be a strike aircraft rank 2 premium for Britain. So that means that all of the Battle Pass vehicles that we've seen, and I'm guessing there's not going to be more than this because every other Battle Pass has had around about 4 vehicles, or no, it's had actually 4 vehicles and followed the same pattern as these devlogs where it's been 2 tanks or 2 ground vehicles, 1 naval and 1 plane. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the last of the Battle Pass vehicles, and also one of the more interesting ones because of its armament of the 40mm. Doesn't really have anything else on it though, which kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, both fighters are pretty fun to fly, and something interesting and wacky is much better than meta-defining from a Battle Pass. Let's get into the history of this vehicle. In 1941, there was a bunch of British engineers which continued conducting armament trials with the Beaufighter, which was introduced into service in the previous year, in 1940. And despite already being one of the most heavily armed aircraft in the world, the British engineers decided to try some new 40mm cannons on it, fitted 2 different cannons to one of the early prototypes of the Beaufighter, and these concluded that the Vickers S cannon, one of the 40mm, was more preferable to the other one, which was mounted, and then it was subsequently further developed and eventually found its way into purpose-designed ground attack versions of the Hurricane fighter. So this vehicle that we're getting when it comes to the game is basically used as a testbed for weaponry. There's actually a few other vehicles that got passed to the devs recently, a version of the Seavigson which was used for the same ideas, and I always find that kind of interesting that we get these types of vehicles in game, which we're never going to see combat in real life, but get to experience a taste of it when it comes to War Thunder. So with this variant of the Beaufighter, it actually has access to 2 40mm cannons. Both of these 40mm cannons are different. They have different rates of fire, they have different ammunition capacities, and also even different barrels. It's really one of those weird and wonky vehicles, which is going to be pretty fun to use, specifically because of the fact that the 40mm do have access to AP, so they will be able to penetrate specifically through the sides of a lot of vehicles and through the top of them. Do I think this thing is going to be massively effective compared to other vehicles at the BR which use bombs, even mines, and also rockets? Of course it isn't. But what it is a little bit of fun that you can donk people with. I feel like every event or every Battle Pass should have a vehicle which is just a little bit of fun, which is something that you take out with your mates every once in a while just to kind of give a go at. Not everything has to be meta-defining, not everything has to be really, really good to be really useful. Sometimes just kicking back and just having a bit of fun is the way to go when it comes to War Thunder. And because this vehicle won't be, the best in the world, it will also have probably not the highest repair cost. It'll have pretty high rewards since it's a premium, and also since it's quite hard to use, it'll also, have high other stuff. It also seems to come with another camo, which is quite nice, but that's probably within the Battle Pass itself. Normally you have to grind out the vehicle, and then you can grind out the actual thing for it, like the actual camouflage with it a few levels later, which is fine. But the only issue I see with this thing is if this is the free reward, because the free rewards have been planes in the past, And if this is a level 50 reward, I feel people are going to be kind of disappointed with it. This, to me, screams much more of an early level Battle Pass vehicle. So something from like rank 2 or rank 3. If we compare it to something like the P39, which the French got recently, or the A6M6, this one is a lot less combat effective than them, and I can see people being annoyed by that. For me, it doesn't really matter too much because, well, I've ground through the British tech tree already. I don't really need, you know, a rank 2 premium, but at the same time, I do like vehicles like this, which are weird and wacky, like the Lorraine 155 and other vehicles like that. For me, I hope that a lot of people are interested in this one. You know, there's been some pretty cool Battle Pass vehicles in the past. Some have been really, really good. Others have been very much mediocre. But I would prefer if they go down the path of interesting random stuff instead of meta-defining stuff. And I feel like with this set of Battle Pass vehicles we have, with like the LVT 440, the PT 7657, the Beaufighter, and also the PT boats, that's what we're getting when it comes to the game. We're getting some weird and wonky vehicles, which should be pretty fun. The PT, obviously the boat is not really that. It's just kind of a bog standard boat, and then the PT 7657 could be meta-defining, but also will be extremely fun, and if they get the BR right, then it should be completely fine. For me, when it comes to this Beaufighter, its engines aren't the most powerful. It's obviously one of the prototypes of the Beaufighter Mark 1, so it's one of the earliest variants of the Beaufighter, and it's kind of been weird how we haven't seen a new Beaufighter in a very long time. Maybe we'll see one in the Israeli tech tree, because I'm pretty sure the Israelis did use the Beaufighter, so that would be, you know, kind of nice to see at least. And I'm hoping that this one, you know, finds itself at least a little bit of use around the place, and I hope it's a sign of things to come when it comes to stuff like the Beaufighters. The Beaufighters are fantastic aircraft for ground pounding in War Thunder. They're incredibly fun, and at the same time, really, really nice to, you know, fly about the place. They used to be incredibly broken, but nowadays they're in a much better place. It's really fun dogfighting with them, even though you lose most of the time, and it's really fun just throwing yourself around the sky and just seeing what you can do. They're great for ground pounding too. This thing, probably not so much. I think it's going to be limited to very, very low use in stuff such as naval and also ground forces, so you can try and pop either tanks or PT boats as you go around. I don't think in Air Realistic it's going to be used that much. You know, nobody's going to use this as a bomber hunter or anything like that, apart from some few individuals who are insane. But at the same time, at least you'll be able to put it in lineups. There is, you know, stuff like a pretty strong 2327 lineup for the British in naval forces, and I feel like the 40s would be devastating to any of the PT boats that you face or any of the general battle boats that you see as well. So maybe that's the calling for this thing. Maybe that's the idea of it, you know, using it in naval forces or using it against machines which have a lot of light armor on, and you can do decent damage with the HE. The AP being useful in ground will be nice. You know, obviously with the realistic damage models that are in right now, it's going to be a little bit more annoying to kill stuff on the ground, and also you're not going to win the air superiority battle, and there are better options for you in the British tech tree. But, you know, the premium bonuses will be nice, and also it will always be satisfying when you donk somebody with two 40mm cannons. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Professor X 1718, Orange Tail, Sakoshi Tiger, BRFC 15, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe A, Eugens Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, and then Kyle Kin, Barine, Lafouche, and also Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.